This video is brought to you by theskillmodeler.com. Hey guys, welcome to the unboxing of the brand new Porsche 918 Spyder by Revell. Now of course this box starts off with a couple of parts trees in some bags. The front bumper, rear bumper and roof came in a bag with the body. The tires that don't actually even look half bad, yes they are a bit big, but in the last couple of years they were a lot worse, so Revell is stepping it up and they're getting there. And the big bag is of course with the chassis, a couple of engine parts, and the final one with some clear parts. As always, inside of the instruction manual you will find a small book with the decals in it. This is a pretty good decal sheet. I never really had any bad decal sheets from Revell. It contains loads of license plates and of course the big giant decal to simulate the mesh for on the clear parts on the engine cover. The first parts tree we're going to take a look at contains the dashboard, spoiler and some of the chassis components. All the parts are very nicely finished and just need a little attention before painting them. They look very crisp, very detailed, and simulate the one-to-one car really well. On the second parts tree we have a lot of the interior parts and some various chassis parts for assembling the wheels. And these door cards. These are multiple piece door cards with the armrests separate, which we're going to look at a bit later, and also a couple of other parts separate, which makes it a lot easier to detail. On the other hand we have the seats, and these are just one piece seats and do take quite a lot of time to detail, as the backs need to be carbon fiber and the fronts needs to be leather in combination with some silver or carbon fiber again. It's a bit harder to do, but nothing that can't be done of course. And these are the armrests, which are separate from these door cards, and then there's the interior piece that fits around the window frame on the inside. Really well thought through by Revell and looking very nice. These chrome parts, I think I'm just going to dechrome these all because they're a bit over the top for the scale, and the wheels, not even sure if I'm going to use them, are not supposed to be chrome but more of a diamond cut aluminum finish. The only parts which I'm going to leave in chrome are these small caps. I think these are where you can plug in the electricity to charge it up. Not sure, but I think these are supposed to be chromed, but they might also just be some brushed aluminum, not sure. These wheels are not all the same size. The rear wheels are a bit wider. Again, some great attention to detail by Revell, and they look really well, just not in chrome. Moving on to the next parts tree, this contains the chassis. It's a bit warped, but that's what you get with such a thin, long piece, and it's not too bad, so a bit of heat and some slight bending will get it back into shape. Of course, these typical Revell wheel wells, but then finished both on the in and outside as a smooth piece. Sometimes the outsides were a bit rough, but nobody's really going to notice as it sits on the inside of the body anyway. The first letdown on this kit for me was not the electric motor here on the side, but the disc brakes. The rears or the fronts, I'm not really sure. The smaller ones look a bit too small. The calipers are really huge, and then the discs are a bit small, plus they are not pre-drilled or at least not even indented, but they come in the decal sheets, which I suppose is fine, but would have liked to see it on the part itself. And then moving on to some of the engine and exhaust components, it just looks good. Nothing more to say there. A lot of room for detailing by simply just painting it. And the next tree also containing a couple of body parts for on the side and some of the main chassis for the monocoque chassis, I think that's what it called. These are two separate pieces, one for the tubular frame which the engine mounts to, and one for the top section, which can, because it's just this small section, easily be done in a lot of carbon fiber decals. Moving on to the clear parts, these are very clear, which is a good thing, and of course the hazy part on the front windshield, so you know where to mask it off and paint it black. And this is where I keep thinking of the Tamiya Carrera GT kit. This also had a clear part which you would decal on top of to simulate the mesh on top of the engine bay. I think this is a really good thing they did this, as the mesh in that shape is pretty much undoable. Moving on to the front and rear bumpers, this also contains the Targa top, which you can put on or put off. It stays in there without any glue, so that's a good thing. A couple of pieces which need to be glued onto the body after painting or before painting. It's just up to you. It would be easier to do before, but for the overall finish in paint, it would be best to be done after painting. And I really actually thought that since this kit had an engine in it, that the engine cover would be separate, but it's not. It's just a one piece molded in. But then again, with the clear mesh you put over it, it's still a lot to be seen from up top. There was a bit of flashing. Flashing is a bit of plastic slipping through the mold halves and then creating a sort of ghostish small flap of plastic which can easily be snapped off. The panel lines and mold lines are really well placed. The panel lines are really wide and deep and don't really need that much attention, and neither do the mold lines. These can just be easily sanded off and are on places which make it a lot easier to be sanded off and not in some tough tight corners. I cut out the bumpers and some of the side parts from the sprues and just placed them on the body to see how it all looked together. And this is one of the parts I was talking about which needed to be glued on later on. I'm not really sure why they did it, but yeah, I guess it has to do with the air vents on the other side. And the Targa top, it just places on there, no glue, so it's up to you if you want it on or off. Really easily done. And this is the other panel that needs to be glued on from the inside, and I think that also has to do with an air vent on the inside, making it easier to be detailed and easier to get in there with your spray can or airbrush. And the final piece I want to get over again is the wheels, but then with the tires on. It's not that bad. Yes, the tire is still a bit too big, but the wheels are actually pretty accurately sized. I'm not sure which size these are, but I compared them to some 20-inch wheels from Hobby Design, and they were the same size. The tires fit over the Hobby Design wheel, and yeah, then the tires looked a bit big. But overall, inside of the wheel well, it fills the space really nicely. The fronts might be a bit small, but overall these wheels are still usable. The only thing I would suggest is lowering it a bit and aligning the wheels. And that's it. In the meantime, check out my online web shop. Of course, check us out on Facebook. Questions or suggestions, shoot us an email or post a comment. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys next time.